So, who's done Kundalini yoga or meditation? A couple of people. Okay, this is my definition of this word. Basically, everybody's looking for a way to get through the day in a more productive, constructive way. And if you haven't noticed, the patriarchy is crumbling, and Rome is falling, and the whole thing's happening. So everybody needs something that's going to help them to maybe get through the day in a way that's more enjoyable. So Kundalini, that word, I think it can have, has like some mysticism, and I don't get this question very often these days, but people will ask me, what is that? I think maybe my Kundalini is rising, or I want my Kundalini to rise, or, there's this whole kind of idea of what that would look like. But my definition of Kundalini rising is that you have enough command of your human operating system that you can, in a moment's notice, if something is kind of going a way that you would prefer it not to, meaning you're reacting to something, or you're triggered by something, or you're exhausted, or you don't have enough energy to make a choice that maybe you would like to make, that in that moment you have some sort of resource to start to pattern a new neurological pathway. And that new neurological pathway in that moment becomes something that's more readily available to you. And then as that becomes more of a habit or more of a choice, and you may not make that choice all the time, but as that becomes more readily a choice in the spectrum of human experience in each moment, then you start to change. You start to have more resources. You start to have more energy. And that would be my definition of Kundalini. So it's really just your own inherent energetic birthright to have more options on how you want to go through your day. And certainly in this time on the planet, we all need more options on how we're going to live and be and succeed and get through the day and get through the night. So these little things that I want to teach you today, this is my little holiday, don't punch anybody in the face starter packet. I mean, you could with one of the exercises, if you made a mistake, you could maybe punch yourself in the face, but I wouldn't recommend it. But Ram Dass says, you think you're so conscious, spend a week with your parents. My teacher, Yogi Bhajan, says after 72 hours of being with the family, you're going to start to magnetically revert back to familial patterns. And I saw this in Light's new book that everyone should pre-order. I'm very excited about Light's new book. What do you call them? Crisis meditators. We don't want to be crisis meditators. That's kind of an old hat. We now have to be able to have something that we're kind of something we can kind of choose and pick and then start to work with every day that's going to give you an accumulation of energy so that you have more resources. And something that's happening in this time, very, very, we're watching it. If somebody wrote this script, would you believe it? Like if somebody wrote this movie script that we're living through, it's really an unprecedented time in human history. It's a very important time in human history. And we're living through it. So sometimes it's easy to kind of, get lost in it, but we're living through it. So you want to have something that you can create a little bit of an accumulation of a new neural pathway towards a different or a bigger kind of experience of your reality. And that's what choosing something like we're going to do today. You could start today and then you could just start doing it. They're very short little meditations, but they start to change the kind of frequency and literally the nervous system so that when the things come up or when the holidays come up or when the ways that we've put outside of us, the great majestic human power that we have, which comes in all sorts of ways. It used to be kind of more religion, but now it's other things, all the things that we've externalized that are going to somehow take the edge off, all of that. Everything, even biochemically, from the secretion of DMT from your pineal gland without you taking any substance. If you're into you want to trip out or have some sort of spirit molecule experience. I hear that in Brooklyn every Saturday night there's 500 ayahuasca ceremonies. So if you want to have some sort of, awakening through the secretion of your pineal gland, that your pineal gland secretes DMT naturally if you know how to open it up and activate it, and all the way to what's happening in Silicon Valley with the nootropics and artificial intelligence. Everyone's looking for a way to optimize, and all of that is inside this Tesla of your human operating system, but we weren't given a book, and that's another kind of definition of these technologies that we're going to do this morning. They're just ways to start to activate and optimize the human operating system so that as you go through the kind of pragmatics and the challenges and the ebbs and the flows and the heartbreak and the grief and the loss of a life well lived. I hope for you all of those things, a life well lived. You have more of resource, and that resource comes fundamentally, and what we'll do this morning, fundamentally from it's yours. And then you can go with it however you want. So if you want to get spiritual, which obviously we kind of, I went, down some rabbit hole. But you don't have to go down that rabbit hole. If you want to get spiritual, you can get spiritual. If you want to just optimize, which is what all these kind of tech people, that kind of scene, they want to optimize because they know they have to perform, and they also know what's coming because the future is here. I woke up the other morning and on my news feed, it's AI, Google's created a better child than you can. Which is not true. The human operating system, the human computer is the most sophisticated computer that will ever, ever, ever be created. We just have to learn how to use it. So that's what we're going to do. And I'm going to give you 2 meditations, 2 little things to do. The first one, you do, you don't punch yourself on the first one. But you could, if you took this first one and you did 3 minutes of it, from now until, just don't stop, just see what happens. Something monumentally would change in your kind of emotional reactivity and the power and the command that you have over the biochemical process of hormones and neuron firing, and then what we then call, feelings. That's all. You would have a much different kind of capacity and command over that. So if you're angry, or if you're depressed, or if you're anxious, or if you're whatever these kind of the ups and downs of all the feelings or the moods that people feel like somehow they're kind of a victim to, you would start to have more of a command over. And that's the game. And then you're going to have more energy, because you know how much energy you lose on that stuff? How much energy do you think you lose on your anxiety, on your fear of the future, on your anger, on your triggers? A lot of energy. And I always say I'm on an energy budget because there's so much I have to do in a day, and the demands are so much just from yesterday, the demands of what you have to do, how you have to perform, who you have to answer to, how many social media, text message, email accounts. The demands are so much more than just even yesterday, that the amount of energy you have to kind of use throughout the day is it's literally exponentiating. So we'll do this first thing for a couple of minutes, and then if you've never breathed like that, the only people who aren't going to breathe really heavy like this are pregnant women. So if you're pregnant, you'll just kind of, but nobody's pregnant. I said this at Rama, New York. I'm like, is anyone pregnant? And everyone was like, I was like, okay, sorry, no procreating. Okay, no problem. So I'm sure no one's pregnant, so no problem. Everybody was like, but if you are pregnant, you're not going to do the heavy breath, but everybody else is going to do really heavy breath. And we go, Ong Namo Guru Dev Namo, Ong Namo Guru Dev Namo, Ong Namo Guru Dev Namo, but don't worry about that. Put the thumbs in like this. I just slipped you a Mickey there. Okay, mouth breath. You got to get it over the head. Backwards. And then just go heavier with the breath and close the eyes, because there's nothing to see up here. Me trying to figure out how to work an iPhone. And then what I want you to do is kind of start to bring something up that's really bothering you. You're feeling a little bothered or anxious or fearful, depressed. consciously bring it up and see if you can use the breath heavier to clear it out of your mind-body system. See how rhythmic you can get with the breath? Everybody loves to breathe like this after they've eaten a good brunch. So. It's like a backstroke, like a swimming backstroke. Good. Go heavier, go faster. You guys are athletic. Come on. Whatever's bothering you, whatever's frustrating you, whatever's stuck in your mind, your body, bring it up, up, up. Use the breath. Clear it out. Use the movement. 30 seconds. Heavy. Interlace the fingers. Inhale, press the palms up. Hold the breath. Now imagine white light all around the body. White light all around the body. Stretch. Exhale through the mouth. Inhale. Hold the breath, now stretch. Imagine white, bright light all around the body. Exhale. Inhale. Hold, stretch. And exhale. Okay, good, you can relax. All right, so we can talk about, I can be up here and talk to you about what you should do and all that kind of stuff. Make yourself a better person. But what you're experiencing right now, what do you experience? Somebody tell me what you're experiencing. Soreness. Awesome. Don't you? Heat. Energy. What else? What did you? Blood flowing. It's really good for the heart. It's really good for circulation. Tingling. What else? Anybody have the mind a little clearer? Yeah. So basically, I don't know why we have this assumption that we can just kind of schlub around. This is what I've been talking a lot about, and I know Light talks about this too in different ways. We have this assumption we can kind of just schlub around our lives, like, kind of whatever, like chasing the things and not being conscious and not consciously breathing and not consciously eating and not consciously having sex and not consciously being in our lives and our professions. Multivitamin. Okay, so here, and then you're gonna inhale 8 strokes through the mouth. You may have never breathed this way before, so it's, or maybe you have breathed this way before, like back in the rave days. Okay, so just like that, exactly like that. 8 segments in, and then 1 full exhale out the nose. Okay, we can do this. You guys are gonna be so good at this. Okay, ready? So sit up tall. Inhale 8. Exhale 1. Eyes are closed. Inhale 8. Try to make it as rhythmic as you can. This will give you a steadiness in your mind and in your nervous system. Couple more rounds. Inhale deeply. Hold the breath, sit up tall. See if you can squeeze a little bit the rectum, sex organs, navel. It's like you're stopping the flow of urination. You're sitting up tall, you're stretching the spine. Roll the eyes up and in, right at the center of the forehead. Exhale. Inhale. Hold the breath. Now roll the shoulders forward. As you hold the breath, roll the shoulders. You're going to get that oxygen into the brain stem, into the back of the brain. Exhale. Inhale. Last time, squeeze up, stretch the spine, roll the eyes up and in. This is a very active time for your pituitary gland, so command the gland to secrete in a way that you can get more clear, more functional, more intelligent, more compassionate. And exhale. You can do that one up to 11 minutes and you get a really good buzz. As my teacher said, he never was trying to be more spiritual, he was just trying to get a better buzz. But that comes, it's an inside out job.